Hey everybody, how are you? Thanks so much for being here. If you are new, my name is Shemaine and I'm a healthy lifestyle, okay, I'll say expert. Yeah. And I'll tell you why. The only reason why I do feel like I am an expert is because, well, there's several reasons. I've been in the fitness industry for 40 years, 40. And most importantly, and why I'm here today is to talk to you about toxic mold. I got sick and almost died from toxic mold exposure in my home that was actually once featured on MTV Cribs. And it's funny, I was just talking to somebody about it today, and every day, especially now with what has been going on in Texas, and I'm sure you all have seen some video footage of just water seeping into people's apartments and hallways and buildings and offices, and it really scares me. So I wanted to put this quick video out. I'm going to have more information coming to you, lots more. In fact, I'm producing a documentary and I'm writing a book about toxic mold. I never wanted to be known as the mold lady, but yet here I am. So I'm just going to talk briefly about a couple of things that you can and should look out for, some of the symptoms that you need to watch, and a little bit about how to remediate. It's too much to get into right now. I just quickly, the reason I was late is, well, number one, I got a new computer and I didn't download Chrome on it and I couldn't figure that out. And number two, I wanted to double check my website to make sure that if you go to shemainenugent.rocks/mold, I thought I had a free mold checklist. So just go, if you want more information, message me, not here because I don't always see all the direct messages here. But if you go to shemainenugent.rocks, I'm going to type it into the comment section. Should have had that done, shouldn't I? shemainenugent.rocks/ just shemainenugent.rocks. That's my website. If you go there and you send a message, I will get it in the next couple of days. And by Monday, I will have the mold information for you. I used to have a mold checklist. I've done videos on mold before, and I'm going to put all that information together for you. But since I promised you I was going to go live today, I wanted to follow through with that promise and talk to you just a little bit about mold. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that I've learned and how I got remediated, how I'm not going to say cured myself and my family, but remediated and got healthier. 20 years ago, I couldn't walk up a flight of stairs if my life depended on it. I was on oxygen and I was rushed to the hospital several times because I thought I was having a heart attack. I had debilitating migraines. I had insomnia, not just restless leg, but restless body. When Ted and I laid down at night to go to sleep, I remember one time going, is there a mouse or something in the sheets? It just feels like my whole body was shaking, and it caused tremors. It caused unbelievable insomnia. I didn't sleep for a couple of years, like literally. And the way that was really the number one indicator. People will say, well, how did you find out about mold? Well, imagine 20 years ago. People now are just starting to catch on to it. And I'm sure there's going to be some people here that are skeptical. I'm here to tell you, I'm living proof. Number one, the human body has an amazing ability to heal. And I want to share what I've done with you. And that's why I'm writing a book about it. And I'm producing a documentary. I know. I've had many people say, oh, I'm waiting desperately for the information on the documentary. Y'all, it takes a lot of time and a lot of money. And I've tried to do this on my own. And I'm only one person. And my husband's like, are you kidding me? So I am trying to find other people to help me and other resources to help get this done. And then the other thing is, where do I put it? Where do I put this documentary? So the number one goal is to help educate other people, to educate and enlighten other people that, no, you're not sick, or this isn't a figment of your imagination. Your symptoms could have been caused by mold. Now, I'm not even going to read you the entire list of some of the symptoms that I had or some of the symptoms other people had. But I'm going to talk about just a couple of them. Headaches, upper respiratory, migraines, debilitating joint pain, insomnia. It can also show up in different people as different things. Inflammation in your body can lead to chronic diseases, lupus, ADD, ADHD, Alzheimer's, and I'm going to say the big C word, guys. It can even lead to cancer. A friend of mine, Doug Kaufman, who has an ongoing series on YouTube, his videos, his show is called It's a Fungus, I think it is. But if you look up Doug Kaufman, I'm pretty sure it's a fungus. He's in my documentary as well. So what I wanted to share with you basically is like Lyme disease. You've heard of Lyme disease, right? Lyme disease has something called a spirochete, microscopic little guy that is like a dastardly army wreaking havoc all over your body. And what they do, what the spirochete, like the Lyme spirochete, the mold mycotoxin is a microscopic toxin in your body. Think of like an army of invaders in your body. And what they do is they go to the weakest link. In my book, I'm right now, the other reason I wanted to talk to you about it, hey, Don Weimer from Jackson, Michigan. When I get done talking about all this, I love seeing your comments. I love seeing where you're messaging me from. And I would like you to post your comments, your questions here. And this is the one that I need your help with. Right now, the part that I'm writing in my book is about the emotional toil. If you have had an emotional, just think of stress, ongoing stress, that shows up. We've heard about, stress can lead to cancer, right? We've all heard about that. But what I was saying is these mold mycotoxins, like an invisible army invading your body, they go to the weakest link. And here's what's interesting, y'all. It might not show up immediately. It might not show up for days, weeks, months, or even years. Like the Lyme spirochete, the mold mycotoxin can lay dormant in your organs. If you have a physical or emotional trauma, it can be jumbled up and exacerbated. Like think of a dead dandelion. When you shake it, it goes everywhere. That's what happens. That's how unbelievably horrendous, horrific, and life-threatening toxic mold can be. So I'm bringing this information to you. Again, if you're just joining me, go to my website, ShemaineNugent.rocks, and send me a message there. I will go back here on Facebook and also, probably Facebook and YouTube. I'm going to answer questions, and I will repost this on Instagram, although I've been so banned, so shadow banned. It's unbelievable. I wanted to get your comments. When I was first exposed to toxic mold, I was going through a very debilitating emotional trauma. And I've written about it in my books before. I don't want to get into too much about it now, but I've talked about it many times. I would like to ask you, if you have been exposed to mold, think about your exposure, the time that you were exposed, because it could have been years ago. Most likely it was years ago or months ago, and it's just showing up. I talked to somebody today, actually at Clay Pot in Waco, Texas. Ted and I went to lunch there, and we're just starting to open back up because of the freeze. And the owner said that she still had no power and no water. So they were kind of living out of the restaurant, which did have power. And I said, well, be careful about, did you turn off the water? Did you make sure your pipes didn't freeze and burst? And she goes, well, one did. And I'm like, be careful. Be careful. Here are the things that you need to look for. Number one, if it was bad, get rid of all the carpeting. If you have a porous substance like drywall, or in the South, we call it sheetrock, carpeting, wood especially, if you have a porous substance and you have water infiltration, you will have mold. You will have mold. Now, there are 1,000 different types of mold. Mold is naturally occurring outdoors. So people can argue, oh, we're exposed to it all the time. We're talking about the number one deadly type of mold is called Stachybotrys, S-T-A-C-H, Y-B-O-T-R-Y-S. Can't remember off the top of my head, Stachybotrys, but there's also a bunch of other ones. Look up, there is an article, go to DuckDuckGo and look up celebrities with toxic mold. Ted and I show up, as do Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz had toxic mold. Muhammad Ali, Aaron Brockovich, Lou Ferrigno, remember the Hulk? Ed McMahon. And research this for yourself. There was an actress, 32-year-old actress named Brittany Murphy. And this is the other reason why I'm not just going to focus on the emotional toil and the feelings that you had when you were exposed to toxic mold, but I think this is an issue because toxic mold can also make you depressed. It can cause you to have hallucinations. It can cause you to be paranoid. And I saw an article where somebody said my wife has had these Tourette syndrome like outbursts. So, and I'm seeing all these people coming in saying, help me. And I'm trying to, girlfriend, I'm trying. Yes. And Sandy is very traumatized. This is why I'm talking to you. Okay. I kind of got off on a tangent. I got to stay focused here. I'm like, squirrel. Okay. So write in the comment section if you had an emotional upheaval during the time that you were exposed to toxic mold. Brittany Murphy, 32-year-old why do I keep saying actress Brittany Murphy died. Now, it was absolutely concluded that there was mold in her apartment. And it got to the point where she and her husband, Simon, who I believe was 40, she's 32, he was 40, about 40. They had made numerous calls to 911 that the paparazzi were stalking them to the point where they secluded themselves in their apartment. And Simon had called and he was trying to get somebody to come and help them deal with their mold problem. Now, you tell me if this is a coincidence. Brittany Murphy died at 32 years of age from the toxicologist report was pneumonia. Can toxic mold illness lead to pneumonia? Absolutely. 5 months later, her husband, who lived in the same apartment, died at 40. He might have been 42. No, 40. Is that a coincidence? Here's why I'm telling you all of this. It's not, and somehow that got, yes, interesting. It's not just in your head. I want you to think about if you have had toxic mold exposure and you start getting sad or depressed or joint pains or headaches. I had such debilitating migraines. I'll never forget one time, Ted took me to the hospital. We were in Jackson, Michigan. This is when we were still living in the house. I've got my mint tea, by the way. So good. Ted rushed me to the hospital. My migraine was so bad. I'll never forget the doctors were injecting in my IV. He'd inject something and he'd go, well, I'll come back in about 10 minutes and see how you're feeling. And I remember, I don't remember the exact drugs until this one drug. They gave me several different things and I'm like, nope, it's not touching it. Like my body felt relaxed. I felt woozy, but I still felt like my head was in vice grips, like it was going to explode any minute. I'm like, nope. What else you got? And I remember Ted's sitting there. He was such a trooper. The doctor said, we could try morphine. I'm like, bring it on. So it got to the point where I was having morphine injections and it barely worked. This is why I'm telling you guys, because if it can happen to me, it can happen to you. My goal in life is to change your life, to help you. As I said, I don't want to take too much of your time on a Saturday afternoon. I appreciate each and every one of you spending time with me. Please message me on my website at shemainenugent.rocks. If somebody, there's so many comments that came in here. If somebody can write that in the comment section, www.shemainenugent.rocks. I will repost that. Hey, Kevin Scholl. Okay, Kevin's got a great question. I can always count on you, Kevin, for having great questions. Shemaine, does mold affect our fur babies too? No, it's not a dumb question. Ed McMahon, do you remember Johnny Carson? Johnny Carson's sidekick, Ed McMahon, believed that his dog died of toxic mold. If you think about it, our dogs have 100 times greater sense of smell than we do. Absolutely, it can affect your pets. I think it was what killed our cat, who we lovingly called M. It was Rocco's cat. Sasha gave it to Rocco, and we asked Rocco what he wanted to name it, and he said, it looks like his name is on his forehead. It looked like God took a magic marker and put M on his forehead, so we called him M. Now, again, for M, it was years. But I think what that did, I think this set us all up, Ted and I and Rocco, for a lifetime of problems, digestive problems, headaches. Here's what it feels like. I'm doing the doggy paddle all the time. Some days I have good days. I have good months. I might even have a few good years. And then I get hit with something and I feel like I'm back at square one. And all I want to do is feel better. So I also bring you information about, health and fitness and losing weight and everything. I'm not on a diet to lose weight anymore. I think I got that figured out. Hey, Dennis, thank you so much. I'm going to post this. And I share all that with you. By the way, I just started a new program with friend Nikki Clagle. And if you want, you can still get in on that. You can go to shemainenugent.rocks/reawaken. It's for women only. And we had such a great turnout. We did our first program, but I made a big boo-boo. I forgot to hit record. So Nikki and I are re-recording it tomorrow, and we're going to send it out to everybody who enrolled on Monday. So it's not too late to get in. You can go to shemainenugent.rocks/reawaken. See, it's another squirrel. I get sidetracked. My point is, out of all of this, all I tried to do was get healthy. I did everything from, I don't know how many different drugs I tried. I was on Imitrex and what is it called now? Trexamet. Oh, I took this one pill called Cafrago, which is 750 milligrams of caffeine. I went to dozens of different doctors. I'll never forget one who was the migraine specialist in the world. I don't even know if I should say his name, in Ann Arbor, Michigan. He never even looked at me. I literally was Ted brought me in and I got put into the to a room. I was bawling my eyes out. I was in so much pain. He walked in like this. Oh, this, by the way, is one of the things that you're going to get in the Reawaken program. Daily journal. You can keep track of your food, your exercise, all that stuff. He was like this. What's your name? How old are you? What are your symptoms? No, actually, I take that back. He never looked at me. He said, what's your name? Symptoms? How often do you get it? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you this pill If that doesn't work, take the next pill. If that doesn't work, take the next pill. If that doesn't work, you can take them all together. And he walked out the door. He never even looked at me. I'm getting all excited about this because it almost killed me, and it scares me to death with all these people, especially in Texas, in the Dallas area, all over Texas. I've seen a video from friends of mine whose daughter was in Austin, Texas, and the pipes burst, just downpour. So here's what you need to do. I promised that I would give you some tips on remediation. I'm gonna share much more with you. I cannot wait for my documentary to come out too, because this is why I'm doing it. There's so much information to get to you. And again, if it could happen to us, it could happen to anybody. I never saw anything. I never saw mold in the shower, never saw mold along the walls, in the corner of the ceilings, never saw anything. I talked earlier about insomnia. Somebody said, well, how did you know? What happened to me was both Ted and I couldn't sleep. And I'll never forget, we went to London, England. We went to a hotel and we went, oh my gosh, did you sleep? Oh my God, I can't believe how great I slept. It was amazing. Like I had never slept before in my life. That's what it felt like. And then from that point on, every time we went to a different hotel, we slept great. We went home. It was like zombie land, 24/7, could not sleep. Constant migraines. Imagine insomnia for weeks and months. It catches up to you. Okay, so I'm getting so many. How long does it take to get black mold out of your system once you move out of the house? Great question, Crystal. At the beginning, I talked about the mold mycotoxin that can lay dormant in your organs for months or even years. And if you have some type of a physical stress, you get in a car accident, you break your arm, or emotional trauma, it's like having a dead dandelion. You shake it up and it can go berserk. Mold can show up in different people, in everybody differently. You can have different symptoms. Two people in the same house can be affected differently. And I started out by saying, I wanted to ask you if you had an emotional trauma during the time that you were exposed to mold. And this is what, because I'm doing an informal, what is it called? Not research. Yeah. There's a word for it. I can't remember the name of it. I would like to know, what is the name? What is that word I'm looking for? I don't know. Here's the bottom line. Mold can affect everybody differently, depending on your genetics, your predispositions, your emotional trauma. And I also discovered that men can be protected because they have more testosterone. So a man and a woman in the same house, the woman can be affected, the husband could be like, I don't know what your problem is. I don't feel anything. And I remember also going to doctors who said, well, you're just stressed. Of course I am. Who isn't? Sorry if I'm yelling. Who's not stressed? To answer your question, Crystal, I don't think there's a finite answer for that. I think it can stay in your body. It can stay with you. Ted and I both got tested. Now, the testing that you can do can cost thousands of dollars. We did a blood test, and it was determined that both Ted and I had 4 different types of mold in our bloodstream. So to answer your question, I'm going to answer your question this way. It's going to be different for everybody. It depends on your exposure. It depends on your predispositions, your genetics, your DNA, your emotional situation. And it could also show up as, like I said, just not feeling good, not being happy, like you're just depressed and you don't know why. So for me, I'm going to tell you what I did. And I'm getting so many comments. I'm so excited, and I'm glad because, okay, so, au contraire, I get so many comments, and now I'm going down the habit trail of bleach. Bleach is a toxin, and bleach, what happens is most of us who have had mold exposure will also have something called multiple chemical sensitivity. What that means is I couldn't go into a grocery store. I couldn't go into my son's school to have parent-teacher conference. I couldn't go into a mall. Darn the luck, because there are so many chemicals. And what happens is those chemicals, I've done videos, and I'm gonna put together all this information for you. If you're using Downy fabric softener, for example, or you have scented candles, get rid of them. Those can mask those symptoms, and you might be feeling better for a second, only to make it explode even worse. And those chemicals, it's like, do you know when you get a new car, the new car, oh, it smells like a new car. That new car smell is actually chemicals off-gassing. And what that does is it, again, can cause different things in different people: headaches, flu-like symptoms. Nobody wants to have those now. Sore throat, upper respiratory problems, joint pain, ADD, Alzheimer's, and yes, it can even lead to cancer. Again, there's so much that goes into this, guys. Sadly, I could talk about mold forever. So to answer your question, how long does it stay with you? Here's what I did. I had a choice. I could barely even walk up a flight of stairs when I was getting better. And I had a choice: go to someplace like the Mayo Clinic, which would give you drugs and cover the problem. You might feel better, but guess what? How many times have you had a prescription drug and you read the little, oh yeah, this is interesting. I just had something about prescription drugs. You read the label and it says may cause X, Y, or Z. So you get a whole bunch of other symptoms. One time, one doctor prescribed Imitrex injections. So I gave myself an Imitrex injection. And for those of you who don't know what Imitrex is, it's pretty much the number one migraine abortive medication. And I remember one time I was in so much pain. I had Ted give it to me, and literally, it's an injectable. You not jam it, but as soon as it hits your skin, you push a button and it releases the injection. So he did it a little bit too hard, and in my thigh. And I remember it kind of makes you feel woozy, whatever. And I remember just, okay, I got to lay down and turn off the lights and nobody yell, nobody do anything, no loud music, anything. And then all this, we covered the problem. And then it came back with such incredible intensity. I'm looking on the handout for the prescription. Number one side effect for this particular drug that I was taking: headache. Wait a minute. I'm taking a headache medication that could cause headache. Number 3 side effect: death. So long story short, see, don't even get me started. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're here. Scope Watcher 230 just came up. Thank you very much for being here. And if you're just joining me, I'm going to have a lot more information on my website, ShemaineNugent.rocks. ShemaineNugent.rocks. If you go to somebody, hey, Kevin, I know you're watching, type in www.ShemaineNugent.rocks, and I'll put that up on the screen. Go there, send me a message there, and I will follow up with you and send you more information on mold. I do have a drop-down list for mold, but I just checked it before I went live, and it's not working. So by Monday, I'm going to have all that up and running for you. Okay. So long story short, what I did is I decided to go to a facility that basically was detoxifying, with Dr. William Ray, who passed away a couple of years ago, in Dallas, Texas. It's actually, guys, part of the reason we moved to Texas. And what he did was detoxify the body, and he tried to get all of his patients off of all medication. So what I did, here's what I did every day. I lived there for a month, and I was on a strict diet. Again, diet. Oh, Rocco's FaceTiming me. Sorry, Rock, I'm gonna have to message you later. I was on a strict diet to find out, a rotation diet, to find out what foods I was allergic to. So this is so intense because you could be getting triggered by something that you're eating and you're not sure what it is. I eliminated all potential mold foods, like for sure cheese, but also other things. Did you know that mold could be in nuts? Mold could be in grains. Mold could be on a lot of different food products. So what I did was I would eat, let's say, for example, on Monday, I'd have chicken, one thing per meal. And if you get to the point, guys, where you are sick and almost dying, you will try anything. And that's where I was. You might say, oh, why would you want to do that? Because I didn't want to take drugs. I didn't want to feel like I felt. And I wanted to cure myself naturally. So say, for example, on Monday, I'd have chicken for lunch. And then I'd have a salad with certain ingredients for dinner or whatever. I wouldn't repeat those ingredients that I had on Monday until Thursday. So I'd give my body time to see if I had a reaction to anything, because you could be allergic to some foods and not even know it. I found out I was allergic to vinegar. Imagine that. So that could cause more inflammation in your body. So I was on a strict diet because I wanted to get better. I did a little bit of exercise. I remember they had this old-fashioned 1970s type bicycle, inside. What's it called? Anyways, we did that for or a stair stepper. I did that for about 12 minutes, I remember. Then I went into a sauna for 30 to 45 minutes. Then I did oxygen, and then I had a vitamin IV, and then I had a massage. Kind of sounds like a spa, huh? But the point is, that's one of the reasons why I talk about self-care. If you allow your body, exercycle, that's it. Thank you. Thank you, exercycle, Dennis. That's if you allow your body to break down to the point where you cannot function anymore, you'll pretty much do anything to get well. And I chose to do non-pharmaceutical, non-prescription drugs and detoxify my body. So long story short, okay, functional medicine, Leah talks about functional medicine does offer global allergy blood draws that test hundreds of foods. Great. I know that a lot of doctors call it functional medicine, and I get that. I still like the old-fashioned term that we used to use in the 90s and the early 2000s called functional medicine or alternative medicine, because many Western doctors don't consider things like acupuncture medicine. So yes, it is functional medicine, but it is an alternative to what many doctors talk about. This, you guys, this is going on a lot longer than I thought. I could keep going on and on. In my book that I'm writing now, probably out, stationary bike, that's it. That's it, Deborah, stationary bike and exercycle. Oh, this is the worst. Unscented. I remember I had somebody staying at my place and they put scented laundry soap in my washer. I couldn't get it out for like 5 cycles. Ted and I went and visited some hunting friends. They opened their door and we went, oh, we can't even go in. We really like you guys. There was so much potpourri, so much fragrance in that house. I can smell Downy fabric softener on somebody. If I'm in the grocery store, this to me is why I wear a mask. When I'm going down that laundry detergent aisle, it's toxic. Okay. All right, guys. Spin class. Yeah, they didn't have spin class back then. So I'm going to take a second to answer some more questions. I am so excited to talk to you guys about this. It's kind of not really like I wanted to be known as the mold lady. You know what I'm saying? But I guess, garbage bags. Garbage bags are the worst. I have to search. It takes me yes, Tina. It takes me so long to go grocery shopping because everything has scent. Kleenex has scent in it. Toilet paper. Why do you need a scented toilet paper? You're going to flush it anyway, right? Don't get me started. Shortness of breath. You guys, here's what I want to share with you. I have been sharing with you. Okay, I'm going to look at your comments. Hang on. Howell, Michigan. Hey, okay, tiny trash bags. They're so hard to find. I can't find unscented trash bags. Oh, thank you, Leah. I'm so glad. I can't wait for my book to come out, you guys. I've sent my book treatment to a couple of people, and they thought it was really good. I'm super excited because I'm not going to read you some of the topics. It's not just about mold. You know that mold was mentioned in the Bible in Leviticus, right? I believe there's another reason why than just to detoxify or clean your home. And I'm going to get into that. Mold has been used as a biological weapon. Yes, in Vietnam. And probably still today. So, guys, I could go on. I'm excited that you guys are interested in this. It's not like I was going to say, no, I have something to talk to you about, but no. I have lots to talk to you about. Okay, yellow rain. Yes. When does my book come out? It's not even done yet. I'm still working on it. And then I'm working on finding a publisher. You know, it's funny because I've written screenplays, I've written books before, and you'd think that, okay, I'm done with my book. Okay, you can publish it now. It can be on on the shelves and everything, and everybody will buy it, right? Not so much. That's when the work begins. Like when I came out with my book, I don't know where it is. Oh, this book. During COVID, during the pandemic, the quarantine, the lockdown, I was supposed to do a book tour. I do talk about mold in here a little bit. So this is available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. And if you want an autographed copy, you can email oldwestantiques@yahoo.com, oldwestantiques@yahoo.com. Somebody can type that into the comment section, oldwestantiques@yahoo.com, and I will personalize it to you. But I do talk about mold in here, among a lot of other things. 4 minutes, little tips and tricks that can change your life in just a few minutes a day. Okay, we're going to have to make this a regular thing. Do you think? Yeah, there's just a lot. I'm excited that you're interested in this. I thought nobody wanted to talk about mold, but guys, okay. Lyme disease was also, okay, so here's one for you. Look up this book. Look up a book titled Lab 257. Lab 257 talks all about how Lyme disease was created. Lab 257. Okay. I could talk about this forever. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Barbara Dazelle. You have the book that I'm showing. I'm so glad. Old West Antiques at yahoo.com. Old West Antiques. Oh, no, wait. Oh, No, it's not oldwestantiques.com. It's oldwestantiques@yahoo.com. It's an email. oldwestantiques@yahoo.com. It's an email. Yeah, email. Okay. So you email them. They're friends of ours, Tim and Ashley Tucker, and they're like facilitating all of this, sending out these. And Ted's, he started sending out autographed these come and get it, come and take it flags that a lot of people are. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I could just stay on here reading all your comments. I'm turning my notifications on. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm turning my notifications on this since it has to do with women's topics. Oh, you say on. Oh, King, I hope that's a good comment. I'm thinking, yes. Lab 257, we need to talk about mold. Who's saying this? Lauren, all the time. No one wants to talk. It can make you sick. Wait till you see what I'm going to be disclosing about mold. Just wait. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I couldn't stay here forever talking to you about this. We'll make this a regular. I'll let you know. But one more announcement. Two more, actually. Yes, you can still get into my women's only group called Reawaken Your Legacy that I'm doing with Nikki Clagle. We had an amazing turnout. It was so much fun. I was so excited to do it, and it was so incredible, so heartwarming to see all the smiling women's faces. You can still get in because I goofed up. I forgot to press record. So Nikki and I are going to refilm it, and we're going to send it out Monday or Tuesday to you, so you can still get in. We're doing 4 sessions of this. We are talking about reawakening your mind, body, and spirit. And in the session that we did on Thursday that I'm refilming tomorrow, it's going to be out. I talked about having a healthy body, and you're going to be able to get this Reawaken Food and Fitness Planner, so you can keep track of your goals. You can set goals, like what are, if you really want to if you really want to, whatever it is, lose weight, get healthy, stay in shape. We have to talk about accountability. We have to talk about the fact that if you're eating fat-free Twinkies, do they make those? Do they make fat-free Twinkies? I know they make fat-free cupcakes and things like that. If you're eating things that are fat-free that aren't healthy for you, it's going to contribute to you not being able to reach your goals. So, okay, the other thing I wanted to tell you that is I've listened to you. A lot of people have, I know Barbara Dizelle messaged me, has a lot of questions. I am also creating a monthly membership program where I'm going to have more conversations like this, specific like this, for a smaller group of people. I'm also going to have exercise videos. I'm going to be doing personal coaching, and that's going to be, I'm going to start that March 1st. So I'll have more information. I believe, I'm pretty sure if you go to Reawaken, www.reawaken. No, I don't know. It's on my website, but I'll get it to you. Can't wait to see your mold book. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I truly hope that you will take mold seriously. And if you have a water leak, if you had a water leak, if you know anybody that does, have them remove the porous substance. Here's the other thing I did not talk about. If mold has been, if you have water infiltration, lack of ventilation, and a porous substance, and you have it sitting there for 72 hours, you will have mold. So if that water keeps going, so imagine people who have pipes break in their house for days. And okay, well, they'll put a towel on it, on the floor, on the carpet. You will have mold. Now, I can't guarantee that you will have some of the symptoms that I had or anybody else had. I will call Rocco back, Kevin. I will have. Okay, but please take it seriously. I'm going to have more information coming to you soon. Thanks so much for being here, guys. I really appreciate it. Please share this please share it. I was going to say with somebody you know who might be going through this, but please share it, because number one, I've been really suppressed. My goal is to get this information out there. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. And I do hope you have an amazing day. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon.